Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So my allergies are a bit better today. It's good. So I might decide to come back to Bangalore this one more time.
Please come, Venerable.
Almost. Okay. So, are there going to be people that are coming in late?
Yes.
Not many.
Huh?
Not too many.
Not too many. Actually, there's a statement, better late than never. So there couldn't be too many. As long as they're interested in Dharma, they come, they fill this place. Even they come late, it's okay. But the old students who do that, I might tease them a bit, because they should know better. But even Sebastian, if she comes in a little bit later, I'll be nice to her today. Well, I'm nice to her every day. That's what you should be saying. Oh, that was Sebastian right now. That would have been amazing. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so why don't we meditate? Yeah? We'll do kind of like what we did yesterday. Although, hi. Have you been here before?
Once.
Once, but not with me, right? Okay. Good. Well, not good. I would rather you have been here many times. But if you had been here before and I saw you and I didn't remember, that would have been less than ideal. Okay. So, yeah, let's get into a comfortable meditation posture. So many of you know, so you don't have to go into all that again. And by the way, when you're meditating at home, you see how we have it here with a cushion, a small cushion under our tailbone, and then the kind of larger cushion. So we want to have our slightly elevated, our butt, so to speak, above our knees. Even this slight angle helps the posture a lot. So, yeah. If you guys are at home, you can experiment with the cushions you already have there. If you're traveling, some tip for you. If I'm in a hotel, the regular hotel pillow, I like to fold it in half if it's thin, and then, meditate on the bed with that. Practical tips, okay? Alright. So, the rest of us, since we're not in a hotel, we have these cushions. So again, get into a comfortable meditation posture that balances comfort with discipline. And then we work down from the head, top of the head, to the toes, just scanning the body quickly, trying to identify and then release any areas of tension that we might be holding, particularly in the facial muscles. So when you bring your mind's awareness or focus to one part of the body, then just try to relax, release any tension. Then as we continue down through the body, especially some of us hold a lot of tension in the shoulders. We can think that as we inhale into that part where there is extra tension. Then as we exhale, we release the tension with our breath. then continuing down like that. Through the arms. Then down, through the chest and then through the back. Through the seat. And then through each leg individually. Okay, so now, yesterday we were focusing on the breath at the place of the abdomen. We were watching the rising and falling of the abdomen. Today we're going to switch and do same basic meditation, but instead we're going to look, we're going to focus our attention on the apertures of the nostrils, so in the upper lip and nostril area. Again, as we breathe in, we try to identify or become aware of any sensations in the body in that small area above the upper lip and in the nostrils. Same with exhalation. So again, working with the natural breath as it is. Not trying to have a long breath or a short breath. We're just becoming aware of the natural rhythm of the breath. Letting the breath itself breathe. And just being a passive observer. So again, we can count at the last second of the exhalation. Count 1. Inhale, exhale. Count 2, and so forth. Then start over again at 1 when you reach 10. If in the course of observing the breath, other appearances come to the mind, then don't engage with them. You can notice their presence, but don't follow after them. Just let them go, let them dissolve back into the nature of the mind. So we'll do this for 5 more minutes. meditation and bring your awareness back to the room. Hello. Came in late.
Yeah.
The rest of us were all enlightened now. I gave the instructions and you missed out. Joking, joke. Have you been here before?
Last Sunday.
Last Sunday. Okay. Welcome. If it were only that easy. Okay. So, most of you who are here today were also here yesterday. Most. But that doesn't mean all. Well, actually, now, since you've come, is that even true anymore? It might be 50-50. Okay. So, in any case, yesterday, we spent the whole time kind of introducing, can you hear me? Introducing the text, introducing the context for the text. Okay? So, I started to mention this yesterday about the 3 types of wisdom. Yes? Do you remember the 3 types of wisdom? Long, do tell me the 3 types of wisdom.
The wisdom that comes from learning, which is reading, hearing.
Yeah, hearing.
The wisdom that comes from reflection or contemplation. And the wisdom that comes from meditating on the result of contemplation.
Great. Yes. You hear that? Wisdom arising from hearing, okay? Contemplating, and meditation, okay? So, there's another thing that's often mentioned at the beginning of when a discourse is given, and that is how we should be listening to the teachings, okay? And there's 2 ways that that's explained, and one that I like to bring up is we need to abandon the so-called 3 faults of a vessel. Okay? So, like a vessel, you know, for holding a delicious drink. Okay? So, the first one is the upside down vessel. Okay? So if you have a vessel that's upside down, nothing can go into it, even if you pour. Okay? So this is likened to someone who comes to the teachings, but is very distracted. I see some people, texting. Not you guys, of course, but in other classes, people are texting during the teachings, or like looking somewhere in the sky. Maybe they're having a conversation with Buddha. I don't know. But in any case, of course, if you see Buddha in the sky, then don't pay attention to me anymore. It's fine. But if you're just kind of daydreaming, then even though words might be said, they're not coming into your mind, and so you won't get much out of it. Okay? So, please be upright. So now the second fault of a vessel would be the leaky vessel. Okay? So that would be, if there's a hole in the vessel, even you fill it up with delicious coffee. Not bad. But there's a hole in it, then even you fill it, it won't stay. Okay? So this is likened to, actually maybe some of us know this very well. We come to the teachings, we're paying attention well, but then, when it's finished, we don't bring it to mind again. And so what happens? We forget. So any accumulated wisdom leaks out. or gets lost. Okay? So the solution to this is, and I mention this time and time again, you guys have 3 of us coming, and we alternate weekends, but usually you don't have a program with us every weekend. We might have a discussion group. So you need to do more than just the times you come here to the center. Even if you come to the discussion group, you come every weekend, that is still 8 days a month, right? So you need to use the time that you have to reflect and go over the teachings, and this can be done in a formal setting or even an informal setting. When you, just as an example, when you then were going home last night after the teaching, just to kind of replay the kind of key points. Hey, what was that guy talking about? And try to get the flow of what was being said. Yes? Okay. So now, that's the second fault. Third fault is, okay, even there's no hole, but the dirty vessel. Okay? So even if you have the pot or the vessel, normally, right side up, if it's dirty, even if you pour something in it, it's unsuitable to drink. So what is that like? That is akin to coming to the teachings with an impure motivation. Okay? We were saying yesterday how what determines whether our actions are positive or negative, virtuous or unvirtuous, is our motivation. And so, of course, I was saying, even before you leave your house in the morning to come to the teaching, to try to get a virtuous motivation. Did you guys do that? Huh? Okay. Maybe you were leaky about that instruction. Yeah. So, of course, we were saying that the best motivation is the motivation of Bodhicitta, right? Which is,
Bodhicitta is a state of mind where you are you want all sentient beings to sort of be happy and attain Buddhahood? I don't know.
Okay. It's a good start. It's a good start. What's your name?
Anjali.
Anjali. Okay. It's a good start, but it's not great. It's good, but not great. So, this is for all of us. We should know that Bodhicitta has 2 desires associated with it. Okay? What are the 2?
One is gain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is, they should be happy and free from suffering.
Okay. So the one aspiration is for sentient beings, to be, you could say, free from suffering, right? So this, by the way, the attitude that wishes others be free from suffering is what we call compassion. Okay? Karuna. Yeah? In Tibetan, Ling. Okay? But although we want them to be free from suffering, we see, we don't just leave it at may sentient beings be free from suffering, but we take personal responsibility that I myself must free them from suffering. But then we look at our own situation now and say, wait a minute, although I'm taking responsibility to free all beings from suffering, in my current situation, I'm not able to do that. Because, I myself am suffering so much. I myself am deluded. So then one checks and sees, if I were able to attain the state of complete enlightenment, which we were saying yesterday, remember? What is Buddha in Tibetan? Sangye, right? So we were saying, Sang pots here.
Purify all.
Purification, thank you, sadhana, is very good. The only thing though, sadhana, I don't like you behind the pillar. No, that's not good. Come this way. This way. Great. Okay. So, yes. Sam means the purification of all mental faults. Ge means to increase of all good qualities. So, the state of enlightenment, or Buddhahood, is just the state that is characterized by the complete pacification of all faults and the increase of all good qualities. Okay? So, if we are able to get to that state, then of course we'll be in the best position to help sentient beings become free from their suffering. And until we do that, we'll always, could be doing better in our work for sentient beings. So that's the reason why we need to attain enlightenment. Understand? So we can be in the best position to make good on our aspiration of compassion. Understand? Okay, so bodhicitta then, the two aspirations are to benefit sentient beings and to attain enlightenment. So they say of those two aspirations, the aspiration of compassion is the aspiration at the time of the cause of bodhicitta. We were talking about this yesterday, right? We have cause and effect, right? So at the time of the seed, there is no sprout, right? At the time of the sprout, there's no seed, right? The seed has become the sprout. Understand? Okay. So actually, the compassion is there at the time, before bodhicitta arises. Understand? Now, that doesn't mean that when there's actual bodhicitta, there's no more compassion. But it's just an analogy, right? The compassion arises first. Then we do the contemplation. Okay, I want to free all sentient beings from suffering. Can I do it in my current state? No. Who can? Buddha. Then, therefore, I'm going to attain enlightenment. Okay, so it's that causal order. You understand? So then, now you understand our kind of common way of talking about bodhicitta. You should answer with those two aspects in there: compassion and the wish to attain enlightenment. Yeah? Okay. Yes, so that's the best motivation for what we're doing. So what was I talking about? Oh yes. So then we were talking about the three faults of a vessel and the fault of having impure motivation being like a impure vessel. So to have a good motivation while listening to the teachings is of foremost importance. The great Tibetan master, Namjong, he said that it's not merely enough that the teaching be a Mahayana teaching, but our motivation has to be a Mahayana motivation. Okay? And by the way, what is a Mahayana motivation? Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. So you guys know, right? Mahayana. Maha, great. Yana, vehicle. Okay? So what makes... you'll see divisions of the Dharma into different vehicles. Okay, or yana. So why? So like a vehicle takes a person from a certain location to a certain destination, the Dharma is like that. Okay? The Dharma is the means, the vehicle by which we can achieve or reach any, different types of destinations on the path, so to speak. Okay? And so you will see, like for example, the Shravakayana, Pratyekabuddha yana, the Mahayana, anyway, different yanas. In the Nyingma, you have 9 yanas, actually. But without getting into too much detail, basically, remember we were talking about yesterday, we were talking about samsara? Were we talking about samsara? Really? Oh, we should have. Samsara is where we are now, this process of uncontrolled rebirth, according to our karma and our afflictions, right? Actually, what I wanted to do, is actually have a volunteer go through the points that we covered yesterday in a brief way. Dilshad? She had such a big smile on her face. I thought she wanted to volunteer. Huh? You don't remember? Okay. What did we start off with?
The verse from
Huh?
the verse from Dhammapada. Life. What is life?
No, now we're talking.
The purpose of life.
Purpose of life. Okay. Maybe we can all do together so no one is singled out. You know? Okay? So you remember? Hey. Okay. So from today, Dusha, be a nice, right side up, no holes, clean vessel, okay? And I'm going to give you some masala chai. I know you don't drink coffee, okay? So we started off, remember, I was saying usually we talk about the verse, the title of the text, and to elucidate. The title of the text gives the content of what's inside, right? So for the Indo-Tibetan tradition, you could almost judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? It's like just very straight, you know, no fancy marketing gimmicks, you see. So Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, anyway, I don't want to do this I want to do this in a brief way. So anyway, I'll just go through this, okay? Because we have a lot to do. So we were saying, the real title is better translated as Engaging in the Bodhisattva's Deeds. But this translator made a little bit of a kind of, not poetic, but he chose to say way of life, right? So then I said, okay, let's talk about life. And the fundamental starting point of Dharma is the recognition that we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. Okay? You guys have notebooks? You guys have notebooks, you have pens. There's one thing. I read somewhere, and it's true. One unique thing about humans as a species, we can rely on external means to aid our memory. Yes? Notebooks. Okay? So fundamental starting point is we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. Okay? So then what do we have to do? We have to investigate why do we suffer and what causes happiness. Right? Then we need to be very clear about those causes and then abandon the causes for suffering and develop the causes for happiness. Okay? So I didn't say this last night, but many other times I quote a verse by Nagarjuna, who praises the Buddha at the end of the Mula Madhyamika, saying, enthused by great compassion, yeah, you taught the profound Dharma to overcome all wrong views. To Gautama Buddha, I prostrate, I pay homage. Okay? This is another excellent, one phrase, one stanza encapsulation of all the Buddha Dharma. Okay? So, enthused or motivated by great compassion. Compassion is karuna, yes. But what is it? The wish that others be free from suffering. Okay? So, the Buddha is motivated, every one of his or her actions is motivated by compassion, wishing that others be free from suffering. Okay? But then, although you want someone to be free from suffering, it's the same question. Why are beings suffering? Okay? So then, to overcome all wrong views, the Buddha identified, and I was saying this yesterday, a friend who's not here today, right? That our suffering is caused by negative actions, which are in turn caused by mistaken and distorted views of reality. Okay? So the Buddha taught to overcome all these distorted views of reality. Right? Taught the Holy Dharma to overcome all wrong views. So remember I was saying last night, since all of our negative actions are underpinned by these negative and distorted views of reality, then our main job as Dharma practitioners is to overcome the wrong views. So the Dharma is essentially to overcome our wrong views of reality. Understand? Okay. So, the shot. You have two. I don't see that pen moving enough. Okay. Yes? So let's review. Fundamental starting point of Dharma. All sentient beings want suffering, all beings don't want to suffer and want happiness. Therefore, we need to inquire into the respective causes. The cause of suffering is wrong views that then impel us to perform negative actions, negative karma, that ripen a suffering experience. Okay? So then the Holy Dharma are these methods to overcome the wrong views, to transform our minds, to subdue our minds. Okay? Now, samsara. Samsara is the cycle of rebirth that is, we take rebirth without any control from our side, but instead is thrown, is projected. We're totally blown by the winds of karma and afflictions. Afflictive emotions, klesha. Negative emotions, disturbing emotions, negative states of mind. Okay? And I was saying of all of them, right, we have, anger, jealousy, pride, right? But at the root of all of them is the fundamental misapprehension about how ourselves and other phenomena exist. This we talked about yesterday, right? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Okay? So that is we can say, the root of all of the wrong views. You understand? Right. Okay. So now, if we then want to get rid of the root of the misapprehension about how phenomena and ourselves exist, which is the root of samsara, we need to develop the direct antidote of that, which is the correct view of reality. Yes? So this mistaken view of reality, right, it is not just a mere not knowing, right, but it's actually an active, here's a word for you, superimposition. You with me? Superimposition. What does superimposition mean? Dasha? Okay. So, it's okay if you don't know, but you then have to say, wait a minute, Namjong. What are you talking superimposition? I don't know that word. Yes? Don't be shy, really. I'm here to help you. Okay? But if you don't ask, then how do I know? Okay? So, superimposition, okay, you know, super, it's not just, you know, some Superman or superhero, right? But in general, right, super means like more than, right? Above and beyond. Okay? So, to superimpose something means, in this case, you are believing in a type of reality that goes above and beyond what is actually there. You understand? Yes? Okay. So here, in this case, when we have a superimposition about reality, we are assigning, we are imputing a mode of existence onto phenomena that is above and beyond what is there, what is actually there. You understand? Hmm? So, one thing could be, I mean, just as an example, okay? Okay, you know, I'm taking care of a cat, you know? I'm telling you. I'm taking care of a cat, okay? Don't tell Venerable Lexo, he knows it, okay? And, honestly, I think that this cat is the best cat in the whole world. I think it's perfect. P-U-R-R-F-E-C-T, okay? I think it's the perfect cat. I love this cat so much. It's the best cat in the whole world. Okay? Now, maybe, but I haven't met all the other cats in the world, right? Right? So actually, if I'm more realistic, probably it's not the best cat in the whole world. What do you think? Wait, you're criticizing my cat? No, but you see how this operates, right? So this thought of mine, Namjong, you're the best cat in the whole world, is a superimposition on reality. You know? Reality, you know, it's a pretty okay cat, you know, objectively speaking. But, my cat, I love it. You know? Then I superimpose something beyond what's there in reality. You understand? That's what superimposition is. Okay? Then how that operates, you see, this is how samsara operates. We have these superimpositions, therefore my cat is the best. Then someone who criticizes my cat, what? What did you say about my cat? We get angry. You understand? I have so much, you know, attachment for that cat. You know? Not in accord with reality. Okay? Now, remember we were saying yesterday, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So, that, you know, amazing kind of view of this cat is coming from my mind. Right? It's coming from my mind. Right? But from the side of the cat, I hate to say this, please don't tell her I said this, but, you know, there's no amazingness coming from there. I hate even saying that. But that's the reality. Right? So you understand? So for there to be amazingness coming from the side of the cat, actually, there needs to be a cat coming from the side of the cat. Right? There needs to be some objective reality there, you know, that we then pin, you know, like a Christmas tree? You have the tree and then you put the ornaments and the lights. Yes? So you need that tree first of objective reality. Then we can decorate it with, the best cats, well-behaved cats, very snuggly cats, all these things. We need the tree first. You understand? So, I'm not sure if this is helping your understanding or not. Is it? Yeah? Okay, good. So, you see, this sense of objective reality, some reality out there that's existing independent from our mind, that one actually doesn't exist. So, to uproot that wrong view, what do we have to do? We have to analyze whether that view we have is in accordance with reality. Then, after a process of analysis, we discover no tree. It's very important. You need to understand this one. The way to uproot that ignorance is to analyze the way ignorance is holding on to that object and see if it's in accord with reality or not. Okay? You understand? So it's not just, we were saying yesterday, we used this phrase, that there's no independent, intrinsic, inherent reality out there, but everything is merely imputed, labeled by the mind. Okay? But I was saying, right? Cutting, rubbing, scorching the gold. We don't just take my word for it, of course. We don't even take the Buddha's word for it. But we need to analyze. Right? So the way to get liberation isn't just, okay, the Buddha said there's no independent reality, and then we somehow, no independent reality, no inherent existence, shunyata, 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 something like this. That's not how we get realization. Right? But rather, is to take this mind, that we all have operating, and we say, okay, there is an appearance, like this. When I see this cat, I'm like, oh, this is the best cat in the world. We see how the mind is operating. And then we analyze, okay, is appearing this way to me, is that appearance in accordance with reality? And then we check the internal kind of validity of our own mind. You understand? So don't believe something just because you think it. Don't believe something just because Buddha said it. But through a process of analysis, then we can, arrive at the conclusion. You understand? So this job is the most important for anyone who no longer wants to suffer. Is that us? Huh? Really? I hope so. Okay. Now, we're talking about yanas, right? Vehicles. Okay. And I was saying just now, That's the main job of anyone who doesn't want suffering. Okay. So you can think, they classified a scope of teachings, a certain scope of teachings as Hinayana, or lesser vehicle. Okay. And it's become a little bit politically incorrect to talk like that. But until we come up with some better terminology, I'm going to use it. So forget about the term. But what that means, right, when we talk about a Hinayana, okay, the ancient texts, when they talk about a Hinayana practitioner, right, in terms of motivation, they are the ones who wish to be free from suffering. Understand? Well, and to make it debate courtyard ready, the Hinayana practitioner in terms of motivation is the one whose kind of aspiration or goal, motivation for their practice is to attain liberation from samsara for themselves alone. Did you run out of ink on the pen there? Joke. Okay. Understand? So that's what I'm saying. Those who wish to be free from suffering. Okay. Samsara is the nature of suffering. So as long as you're in samsara, means as long as you are taking rebirth, projected by your karma and afflictions, you're going to have one type of suffering experience or another. Okay? So those who wish to be free from samsaric suffering need to get rid of the cause of samsara. That means they need to get rid of the ignorance, grasping to true existence. Whatever that means. Okay? Alright. Now, what I was saying, remember, Mahayana. So great. Right? Great. So, what makes the Mahayana great is it's motivated by Bodhicitta, which wishes to attain complete enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Not just Hinayana wants to be free from suffering for myself alone, but instead opening up for all sentient beings. Therefore, since the motivation is so much greater or vaster in its scope, encompassing all sentient beings, then the virtue that's collected with that motivation is correspondingly greater, and therefore the result is also much greater. You get the result of complete enlightenment that has both the sang, the purification, and the ge, the increase of all good qualities, rather than just the mere abandonment of the ignorance grasping to true existence. That's what the Hinayana practitioners do. They abandon that ignorance, but they don't increase all the good qualities to their highest extent. Why not? Because no bodhicitta. Basically, in a word, no bodhicitta. They don't have compassion that encompasses all sentient beings and takes responsibility to free them from suffering. They're just primarily concerned with getting rid of their own suffering. Understand? So I know it was supposed to be, Saturday night is the introduction and review. So you can say.
Also a contradiction.
No.
Because if the Buddha says, I cannot wash away sins, and I cannot, you have to do it yourself. So how are you say that we're going to free all sentient beings? It's their own job, it's not our job. What is our contribution towards it? In the Mahayana path.
Good morning, Subhashini. So, okay. In maybe right before you came, I quoted a verse from Nagarjuna, right? At the end of Mula Madhyamika, he says, enthused by great compassion, you taught the Holy Dharma to overcome all wrong views, to Gautam Buddha and prostrate. Right? So that's your answer. What do the Buddhas do? Yes, they're enthused by great compassion, and so they want all sentient beings to be free from suffering. So they inquire, why do sentient beings suffer? They see they suffer primarily because of the ignorance that grasps on to true existence, and therefore they teach the reality to others, so that they can overcome all their wrong views and be free from suffering. Okay? Now, on one level, it is true what you were saying. Okay? The Buddhas, yes, can only teach, but it's up to us then to practice, to analyze, to do the work. Okay? But there is no contradiction, because, you see, for like Aryadeva says, right? Those of little merit do not doubt this doctrine, but merely attaining a doubt about emptiness shreds the foundations of samsara. You understand? Okay. Means those of little merit do not doubt this doctrine of emptiness or of true existence, right? So, as I was saying, when you go back to work on Monday, hey, what did you do this weekend? Well, I learned about how no phenomena lacks inherent existence and everything is merely laid by the mind. Right? I think you're crazy. No one even thinks like this. I mean, maybe 0.01%. Right? Most people just go on with their lives. Everything it appears, it exists just like that. My cat is the best. Right? So Subhashini, okay, maybe you're just asking this so I can elucidate for the newcomers. So thank you for the question. But remember we were talking, then the Buddha guides beings in a graduated way. Right? So first, teaching to engage in virtuous deeds and abandoning non-virtue as much as possible. Right? So this is, the spiritual teacher, right? The guru, the Kalyana Mitra, does this first. Again, as Aryadeva said, at the beginning one abandons non-virtue, in the middle one abandons the view of the self, at the end one abandons all wrong views. She who knows this is a scholar, is wise. Understand? So, any kind of guide or mentor, right? Then they're going to, gradually lead beings and, convince them to live their lives in a better way. Right? Of course, okay, let's take a very simple example. Your personal trainer at the gym, right? Are they gonna, make you lose 3 kilos that you put on since you came back from France, unfortunately? Huh? Oi, are they going to make you lose 3 kilos? Wait a minute. If no, why are you paying them so much when you go to the gym? So it's a little bit complicated, right? Of course, they don't snap their fingers and make you lose the weight, but they can show you, how to arrange your training regimen. They can tell you some things about how to eat better, including no more Mysore pak. Right? You understand? They can teach you how to do the various exercises. They get a workout plan. They give you a schedule, right? They set appointments for you to come to the gym, 4 days a week. And because you have that outside kind of influence, you come, right? But you still, after all that, You still have to get on the treadmill, you still have to lift those weights. Right? You with me? Sorry, Sebastian, maybe you're not. You understand this analogy? Huh?
Not really.
Okay, then you need to go to the gym more. Okay, let's give it in the more standard analogy of the doctor, the medicine, all that, right? Okay? You're sick, okay? You go to the doctor? Do you go to the doctor when you get sick? Does your doctor cure you? Does the doctor cure your illness?
Gives you the medicine.
Sorry, what did you say? Does he?
Does your doctor cure your illness?
She suggests ways of alleviating my distress.
But, yes, so you go to the doctor. The doctor's not a magician, right? The doctor can't, snap her fingers and make you better. But the doctor can diagnose what you have, and the doctor can prescribe medicine. Yes? So remember, we were saying, of the three jewels of refuge, who is the Buddha like? The doctor. And the Dharma is like the medicine. Right? So the actual cure for what ails us is the medicine, right? So even though the doctor can say, this is what you have, and here's the medicine, if you don't take it and you leave it up on your shelf, you're not going to get better. So similarly, the Buddha diagnoses our ailments, which is ignorance grasping to a false sense of reality, gives us the medicine, means the Dharma, the way to practice. But if we don't do it, or we just, I don't know.
Maybe we can resist.
Well, that too. We could be very, like we could get a pharmacology degree, right? We know about all the different medicines, we know their chemical structures, we know this, but we don't take any. Then, not going to get better, right? So yes, if we leave our Dharma practice at that, and, like me, right? I can quote you Nagarjuna, I can do Aryadeva, all this stuff, but when my cat appears to me, oh, it's the best cat ever. Don't put any antidotes to the attachment. Yes? So don't be like that. Unfortunately, if the worst of my afflictions was exaggerating my cat's goodness, I'd be a lot closer to enlightenment. Unfortunately, I have more strong afflictions than that. Okay? So, you understand, Sebastian? You understand? So remember, what was your question? And by the way, Sebastian, you gotta maybe work on your questions a little bit. She's like, isn't this contradictory? I know you didn't pound yourself, but you understand? In general, it's good when we're analyzing. Remember, wisdom coming from contemplation is good to kind of analyze. But anyway, I don't want to be critical of you. So let's just say, right, the question, remember the question, isn't there something contradictory? Because on one side, there's a sutra quotation that says that the Buddhas do not wash away our sins with water, nor do they remove their suffering with their hands, nor do they transfer their realizations to another. But tell me, what's the fourth line of that? The fourth line? What? Is that Guru Rinpoche talking? What? Guru Rinpoche, say that again.
Guru, say that again.
This is Guru Rinpoche. You know Guru Rinpoche? In the statue. Padmasambhava.
I thought the Nima were the ones who follow Bodhisambhava and Padmasambhava, and the Gelu tradition is not that, how should I put it,
this Guru Padmasambhava in
It's
Holiness temple.
not considered that important in the Gelu tradition.
A great person.
The Tsongkhapa has the kind of monopoly over the Gelus.
We're not sectarian, Subhashan.
Well, you go. Anyway, we don't have time to go into all that. But come on. We hold Padmasambhava to be a Buddha, right? So in general, there's countless Buddhas, okay? But of course, you know, it's kind of like this. You know, there's countless Buddhas, but of all the Buddhas, your guru is kinder than all the Buddhas. You understand? Do you understand? You should. Because your guru is the one that is directly giving you teachings. You know? Like, okay, there's some Nobel Prize winning, doctor who lives in Norway. Great. Yeah. But one that's seeing you, checking you and doing that, you're getting much more benefit, right? So of all the Buddhas who are out there, and there's countless, it's our guru, that's the one who, they say in the teachings, is the enactor of all the Buddha's activities. You know? Okay? So of course, then according to the various, karma and disposition of sentient beings, as it says in the Sangata Sutra, that even Shakyamuni Buddha, appears in whatever aspect is most beneficial for sentient beings. So for the sentient beings, and also according to their karma. So the Buddha said, to the sentient beings who have the karma to be led to enlightenment, first he says, in the land of the Nagas, I appear in the form of a Naga. In the land of the Devas, I appear in the form of a Deva. In the land of the humans, I appear in the form of a human. To those sentient beings who have the karma to be led to enlightenment by a Bodhisattva, I appear in the form of a Bodhisattva. The sentient beings who have the karma to be led to enlightenment by a Buddha, I appear in the form of a Buddha. Right? So, to those sentient beings who have the karma to be led to enlightenment by, a Buddha showing the aspect of Padmasambhava with that kind of sweet hat, then the Buddhas appear in that form. To those who have the, karma to be led to enlightenment by someone, appearing in, let's say, a lay aspect, right? A farmer. Then, the great Tibetan master, Marpa, right? The Buddhas manifest in that form. He was a very simple farmer, but he was an enlightened Buddha. To those who have the karma to be led to enlightenment by, a female form, then the Buddhas will appear in a female form. We have white Tara, green Tara, Dojin Namjong, all this different forms. So then there's other sentient beings who had the karma to be led to enlightenment by, Lama Tsongkhapa in his form. As a very pure monk, scholar, yogi, this kind of thing. So there's no contradiction at all. actually,
Isn't the path to enlightenment, Lama Tsongkhapa, which is...
okay, you can ask, but I'm gonna probably not answer. Just to warn you. You can ask, that's okay. See, Subhashini, actually, can I ask a favor? Because I haven't really touched Shantideva yet, right? And that's what's on the cards for the weekend. But I think if you think about this a little bit, okay, just what I've said, then you understand a lot, right? You see, you understand a lot. You know, why do we need to get enlightened? Right? Once we're enlightened, then there's no more, well, what should I do today? You know, what should I have for breakfast? There's no thought like that. From the state of enlightenment, it's all spontaneous manifestations across all of existence in whatever way is going to be most beneficial for sentient beings. You understand? Wow. You know? And then you think, you understand that one first. Then you understand, you know, how there can be all of these different manifestations of Buddha. Why? Because sentient beings have different needs. You know? To some, you know, and you see some of these emanations of Buddha, you know, with fire around them, you know, fangs. Why? Because sometimes sentient beings need that aspect. Then other times you see the one, oh, so nice, holding a flower, smiling, you know? Sometimes you need that one too. Then, you know, Guru Rinpoche, you know, has that little bit of a visage on him, you know? So he, you know, he can bring that aspect as well, right? But, you know, countless emanations depending on the needs of sentient beings. Okay. So what are we talking about? Yanas, Mahayana. Because they have the mind of Bodhicitta as their motivation, they're able to attain the state of enlightenment, which is then characterized by what I explained, which is so much vaster, so much greater than the mere attainment of nirvana for oneself alone. Okay? So then this book talks about the practices that lead to the state of enlightenment, and then those are, basically accumulating the causes for enlightenment. So then we were talking about the 6 perfections: perfection of generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiastic perseverance, meditation, and wisdom. Yes, you know all those 6? No problem. And now where we are is perfection and patience. So Sadhana, you ready?
Waiting for the coffee man.
Oh, you're waiting for the coffee? Great. So, let's then start. Where were we? We were on
35.
stanza 35. Okay. So then the other thing I was mentioning, okay, when we study, we have all these different texts that we're kind of comparing and contrasting against each other. Okay? So you have this one. Yeah? This is the outline of this text, which you don't have, but it is available. This text is by Tibetan master, Geshe who wrote a commentary on this text, the root text of Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra by Shantideva. Understand? So Shantideva wrote this, Geshe commentated on this. This is an outline of that commentary. So here, especially in the Tibetan tradition, the commentary, the outlines are very emphasized, very much emphasized, right? So one way, one kind of hint I give to everyone is, at the very minimum, okay, one way to kind of check your understanding is if you just have this text, the outline in front of you, and you go through, could you then, just based on the outline, explain what is in each of those outlines and kind of flesh it out? Huh? Yes? If so, great. If not, maybe that's a good kind of bar or goal to set for ourselves. Okay? Of course, even better would be to memorize the entire Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, and then stanza by stanza. This is Bodhisattva. To memorize this one, and then, stanza by stanza be able to explain the meaning. Stanza by stanza, line by line, word by word. What do you think? Huh? Yes? You at least say that would be a good thing to do. I'm not saying who's going to sign up to do that. Okay? Okay? So where are we in the text? Stanza 35. So you look in this 6th chapter, patience, right? You sir, you can just get these texts from this other table. Actually, in a very, just so we have a complete kind of review, okay? Let's just go over very briefly what we've covered so far in the patience chapter, right? So first, we have A, abandoning hindrances to accomplishing abiding by the antidote, devoting oneself to the cultivation of patience. So then we reflected on the disadvantages of anger, and reflecting on the benefits of patience. And then we are now on B, engaging the mind in methods for accomplishing patience. And so we have the first, arresting, means stopping the causes of anger. Okay? Then we have having examined in detail the causes that give rise to anger, making an effort to abandon them, right? So then we have, D, right? Then we have a general presentation of the divisions of anger in terms of the objects that give rise to anger. Then, arresting fury towards that which brings unwanted things. Fury. Interesting word. I guess control. Anyway. Then we have, right, being patient with those who would create suffering for you. And then we have the first type, cultivating a patience that accepts suffering. And then cultivating patience that is intent on Dharma. And then we have C, cultivating patience that pays no heed to those who cause harm. Okay? So that's where we are. Understand? So then, point 1 on that. Engaging the mind in the method of compassion. Okay? So now, 35. Through not being careful, people even harm themselves with thorns and other things. And for the sake of obtaining women and the like, they become obsessed and deprive themselves of food. And there are some who injure themselves through the unmeritorious deeds of hanging themselves, leaping from cliffs, eating poison and unhealthy food. Okay? So these two stanzas, okay, we have the first. Some sinning beings cause themselves harm due to the lack of understanding. Okay? So these I think we understand, right? You know? So when people are very disturbed in their minds, they'll even cause harm to themselves. You know? Yes? Have we done this? Great. I have. You know? Get angry, punch a wall, just hurt your hand. You know? Or you know, you forget something. Like hit your head with a book. Oh, I'm so stupid. No? Okay. Maybe I see them in cartoons. Okay. But I'm not saying you should do this. Okay? I'm just saying, you get the point. That beings, you know, yeah, when they're disturbed, they'll even harm themselves. Okay? Alright. So next point. If one can even kill oneself due to lack of understanding, it is not amazing that they can cause harm to others. So, 37. If, when under the influence of disturbing conceptions, people even kill their treasured selves, how can they be expected not to cause harm to the bodies of other living beings? Okay? So, you guys, we're clear about the context, right? We're here, we're trying to, you know, cultivate patience that pays no heed to those who cause harm. So, when someone harms us, right, normally how anger works is we get angry at them and then we want to harm them back. So we're trying to loosen this reaction, and instead of getting angry at the person who harms us, we then unwind the anger and then actively try to cultivate compassion toward them. Okay? So then, point C, therefore it is reasonable to feel compassion for them. Okay? Even if I cannot develop compassion for all such people who, through the arisal of disturbing conceptions, set out and try to kill me and so forth, the last thing I should do is to become angry with them. Yes? Can you understand? Okay. So, this is one of many strategies that Shantideva is helping us, you know, to employ in this chapter. Okay? So, but it centers around this thought. Okay? Basically, what do you expect from sentient beings? Right? What do you expect from sentient beings? Okay? Because there's a kind of indignation that we get that accompanies anger a lot. Like, I can't believe this person did this to me. How on earth, you know? How could they do this to me? You know? And so part of the answer is, well, they're a sentient being. Means, remember, they're in samsara themselves, which means that their actions are being projected, propelled by their own karma and their own afflictive emotions. Right? So I think later, before or after, it was saying, you know, people don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to be angry today. Right? Oh, what should I do? You know, it's like you go to a restaurant and you have a menu. Oh, I'm going to, you know, have the poha for breakfast. No, we don't think I'm going to be angry today. But certain events happen, and the anger arises without any control from our side. Then when the anger arises, then that's the one that projects us into doing these negative actions. Okay? So, what Shantideva is having us contemplate now, okay? You know, yes, hey, sentient beings, by the way, they're in samsara, they have all these afflictive emotions arising without any control from their own side. Then when those afflictive emotions arise, they even throw themselves off of cliffs. They even, you know, break their own head on the window. You know? They do all those things to themselves, which, by the way, in general, beings cherish themselves more than anyone else. So if they're able to do that through the power of their disturbing conception, disturbing emotions, then of course they're going to do that to you. Right? So, in this is one form that helps us unwind the anger. You know, Shantideva will say later, right? When someone hits us with a stick, right? Do we get mad at the stick? No. We get mad at the person if we get mad. Because it's the person wielding the stick, wielding, W-E-I-L-D-I-N-G, wielding a stick. Yeah. Okay. Yes? Wielding the stick. The person who is, you know, holding the stick and moving it with their hands. They're the ones in control. I don't get mad at the stick. I get mad at the person holding the stick. They're the ones. Right? But similarly, even that person with the stick, they are in turn wielded, or being used by their disturbing emotions, by their anger. So really, we should be upset with the anger. This person is just an instrument. And by the way, if you've ever gotten quite angry, you might know it's as if we lose control, right? The anger is the one in control. You with me? Okay. I mean, if you're not, that's okay. If you're going to tell me, you know, Namjong, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never gotten that angry that I lost control. I would say, "Tuchiche." That means thank you in Tibetan. But if you do know what I'm talking about, then, see, the others who are harming us is just like that. You know, the ones who have harmed us is just like that. When we get angry and we harm others, right? Afterwards we regret, oh, I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. So now we should understand that other people are experiencing the same thing that we and therefore compassion. When we got angry, was that nice? Huh? No, yeah, I showed him. No, it's not nice. We don't want to be angry. Right? It's not pleasant. It harms ourselves, it harms others. Right? So, this is what we're saying. Shantideva, okay. Even if I cannot develop compassion for all such people who, through the arousal of disturbing conceptions, set out and try to kill me and so forth, the last thing I should do is become angry with them. Shantideva is he's, you know, he's not being too tough on us, right? He's admitting, okay, where we are now, at our state, these people who are trying to harm us, you know, very difficult to arouse compassion, right? But can we at least not get angry at them by seeing that they too, you know, are being wielded like the stick, that they're just an instrument of their own disturbed, uncontrolled minds? Can we do that? We can try. Thank you.
Little easier than compassion.
Yeah. And I'll tell you,
Purification.
I brought up my precious cat. But I learned so much from that little floof ball. You see, I started taking care when they were kittens, you know? Then, you know, they came to my room, and what do? Pee and poo everywhere, right? Then the first few times, what are you doing? Go outside, you know? Of course, I'm not really, you know, a little bit irritation, right? But then at a certain point, it dawned on me, you know, what else are kittens gonna do? Right? They pee and poo. That's what they do. Right? So then, you know, you expect that. You know? That's the thing, right? There's the one saying that our kind of happiness or satisfaction in life is reality minus expectations. Right? So we have all these, you know, expectations that, you know, this like little kitten, when it has to pee, you know, will say, hey, can you let me outside? I have to pee now. We expect that, and then when the reality is, they go on our bed, we get angry. Or we'll say upset. Right? So similarly, this is one strategy Shantideva is having us employ. You know, actually, it's a bit, maybe it sounds not nice to say, but we should expect a lot less from sentient beings. You know, there's the great Stoic, you know, Marcus Aurelius, you heard of him? He had as a kind of daily affirmation in the morning when you wake up. I forget the whole quote, but it's like, you know, today I'm going to meet people who are unruly, who are brutish, who are rude, who are, you know, unsophisticated, who, you know, cut in front of me in line, sorry, who try to rip me off in the auto, you know? Right? So expecting that. But, you know, it is because they don't have any, you know, understanding about, you know, reality, how things are. But I do. So therefore, when I am in these situations, you know, I'm going to act with whatever patience, blah, 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 blah. In the break, when you guys are eating the whatever is behind those plates, I'll find the actual quote. You know, it's very good for us, you know, to expect. Sorry to say, expect less from others. Then when we get it, you know, okay, if then they're nice to us, if it's like, oh wow, so amazing. But if they are like our, very low expectations, you're like, okay, yeah, I was expecting that. Understand? So now we're going to have some horrible coffee, some horrible snacks, stale chips,
Losing the attachment.
What?
Losing the attachment.
Nice. Okay, so we'll take a little break now. Yes?